Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sean here with BlueRidgeSilverhound, and today we're going to be looking at the Monday market report for the week ending June 19th, 2022. If this is your first time here, first and foremost, welcome. And this is the report that we look at every single week to talk about some of the most relevant post-1900 modern era of graded coins to have sold in the last 7 days. Today, we have a whole new slate of coins. As a matter of fact, we got 19 to talk about. Pretty nice selection here. And yeah, we got a few new ones here that we haven't seen before. The main coin, of course, is going to be the first coin that we're going to talk about. But yeah, a lot of good stuff. We're seeing folks really dive into, like World War II era of coins. It doesn't really seem too long ago. In addition, these are some of the coins that have been hot recently. And of course, we're going to take a look at their respective impact on not only the registry set game, because that's where a lot of money flows into, where these individuals are looking for some of the top flight grades of these coins. You guys might want to know about this. But also in addition to any sort of market movement that we're seeing in the kind of like the typeset realm, along with any investable pieces, like some really big, rather scarce pieces we're going to talk about in here as well. So all the coins, again, from great collections, one of the premier marketplaces to not only sell your coins, because they're always looking for new consignments of some of the highest quality items, but they're also a great place to shop too. A lot of great stuff to look for if you're looking for that kind of centerpiece for your collection or for your typeset. Look no further than Great Collections. Go ahead and check them out, greatcollections.com. I'm not at all affiliated with them, although I like them. They're probably the best e-commerce platform for like larger scale type coin collections. So thank you again for joining. Love you guys. Let's go ahead and dive right in to the nitty gritty this week. Starting out with the coin that's fully front and center of this entire market report. And I'm glad for the very first time to see one of the what they call the Bicentennial year Lincoln cents. Bicentennial in the sense that this is the 105th anniversary of Lincoln, but also the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent. As you guys know, the first year is 1909 of the Lincoln cent. The U.S. Mint decided to do a 4-coin series. The one that seems to be the most popular, or probably I would say the top two, are going to be your birthplace. That's the log cabin reverse. And then this one here, they call this the formative years, or the LP2. That's the U.S. Mint code for this particular design. Now, these things have been getting all sorts of extra attention. Some would say that the double to die reverse coins that you could find on the LP2 specifically, most specifically the Philadelphia minted examples, have been hot ever since the release of this coin. It's kind of strange to even think about that this coin is already 13 years old, where it seemed just like yesterday that it was released. Now, the coin that we have here is a Denver minted example. Okay, Denver minted coins in this modern age typically have a lot better cleanliness about it, all right? Better quality. That's just kind of what you would expect coming from the Denver Mint. But this one right here is the first high-graded, I would say, direct to a registry set coin that we've seen. It's an NGC Mint State 68 full red. Someone had mentioned if whether or not you could cross NGC PCGS graded coins to their respective registries, and you can. You can put an NGC graded example on the PCGS registry and vice versa. All right, they've been doing that for a long time. So for it being the first timer for this, a really nice high grade as well, which is pretty tough to achieve, considering that a lot of these coins had those pretty crappy spot problems, kind of like the milky white spots that you see on here. This one, for a debut, sold for $2,025. holy smokes. But that again is it just shows you the popularity of this little short set in 2009. And then when you combine that with the popularity of the registry set these days, it's a pretty good recipe. It was only a matter of time before we saw one of these on the Monday market report. The next couple that we have here are going to be coins that are much older than the 2009 that we had seen. There are, believe it or not, too many coins from 1928 to 2009 that we could have added to the list that was noteworthy. There was quite a few of these, what I call middle of the road, very nice coins that are quite scarce for what they are. Starting out with this 1928S that you see here is a rather tough date and really tough grade to find in full red. Especially if you're out there trying to look for one that is raw. All right, they're next to impossible. The secret's out. You know, everybody knows that full red examples of these D and S mint Lincoln cents of the 20s are quite scarce, if not impossible to find. So, would you say that this one is a registry set coin? It could be. If someone's looking for that mid-state red example and they're looking to quote-unquote settle for something, this is the one right here. Now, it's a mid-state 64 red. When it comes to comparing it to other coins in a premier registry set, this one kind of falls a lot short, all right? Some of those bigger pieces that have sold through, like, say, Heritage Auctions, or maybe David Lawrence or Stax Bowers, you know, coins that are effectively like mid-state 66 plus and higher. Those coins come up once in the blue moon, and they're 5-figure coins all day long. This one right here, however, a good typeset piece, a decent kind of placeholder for a registry set, ended up selling for $1,546.88. And just like the 28S that we had seen before this one, the 23S you see here, same boat. All right, same type of scenario. Full red examples are incredibly tough to find at all. People have had better success finding rather marginal coins that are already graded as maybe a red-brown, and then trying to crack them out and resubmit them in the hopes of getting full red. All right, so this piece right here has that kind of look that it could have gone both ways. I know there's a very tight tolerance of full red that you do need on a coin for it to qualify as a full red. But look at the grade. All right, no different than the previous example, although I would say the 23S is a much rarer grade in full red than the 28S. This one's a 64 red through NGC. And this one shows its rarity. It sold for $3,121.88. There's a 1921 Lincoln Wheat. This one is on the list because it's just a really clean example. I wouldn't say it's incredibly difficult to find a full red example of this date. Most P-minted examples of this era are just okay, all right? Now, where they get really tough is those like really high-end grades, like a 67 plus, which, you know, do come up on occasion. As some of the earlier dates of Lincoln cents are generally very well struck to the point where you could see a lot of the details of Lincoln's beard. It's just a really pretty kind of like 15-year range from 09 to about 23, where you have a lot more detail, and then the quality of the strikes falls off tremendously. Now, this one right here is a PCGS Mid-State 66 red. It's in an old green holder. This thing was probably graded about 20 years ago. Very clean example. Yeah, I could see this in a registry set, although I've seen way better 21s out there in the past. This one sold for $1,856.25. I mean, as far as like gemmy quality earlier coins come, this is a beast of a coin. Now, there's a very fine line of what is kind of like, I'm not going to say bulk, but the more available grades of one of the key dates of the Lincoln Cent series, and that's the 14D. XF40, 45, tends to be kind of like that line. All right. So once you go beyond a certain grade level, the prices get a little bit more pricier. You know, XF40, I would say, is that line where it crosses from a coin that's hundreds of dollars into a coin that's worth over 1,000. This is an XF45 PCGS example. It's CAC certified. It's a very highly detailed, still very meaty coin for it being as circulated as it is. Some people would be okay with this example, especially for a typeset or a Lincoln Cent collection, one that is a full compilation of every coin in the series along with their respective PD and S mints, if that applies. This one right here is just a really kind of like awesome coin, and the price and the values guaranteed over time. These really have not moved up or down in the marketplace until you get to about uncirculated. That's where the prices have shot up over the course of the last 12 to 24 months. This one right here sold for $1,012.50. So I would say that's money well spent on this key date. And the final 1 cent denom coin is, again, one of my favorites. Every time one of these shows up in mid-state condition, we got to talk about it. This is the 1909 S Indian Head Cent. It's one of the lowest minted Indian Head Cent dates that you will encounter. And it has that really nifty S mint mark that is featured on the reverse of the coin under the wreath, right there in that little spot under that little bow of the wreath where the arrows kind of cross together. You know, it's not the first date to highlight a physical mint mark. That would be the 1908. But this one is much more important because it not only is the transitional date between the outgoing Indian Head Cent designed by Longacre, but the incoming Lincoln Wheat Cent design that everybody was just hyped for. So this coin, very important to a collection of not only typeset caliber coins, but also Indian Head Cent collections. It might be a little bit too kind of vanilla for like high-end registry sets. I've seen mid-state reds achieve like incredibly like out of this world numbers. This one is, I would say, just a great coin, and at $3,825, that's exactly what you're getting here. All right, we're on to nickels. The first one that we're going to take a look at is going to be this 1947 S Jefferson nickel. Just an okay coin to me because the luster seems muted. If there's any sort of like light toning on there, I think it's doing less of a disservice for the eye appeal. But overall, it's just a very nice, well-struck example, which most of them are in the 1940s. It's not until you get to about 1950, 51, where the strike really takes a hit. And that's probably the big reason why that full step coins of the 1950s are, quite tough. This one right here, just a really decent grade. Yeah, sure, it could probably go in a registry set. Not a high caliber one, but, just a really nice registry set of Jefferson nickels. This one's a 66 full stepper that you see here. And this one sold for $1,306.12. And then we're on to a little bit of Wartime Silver fun. Always my favorite short set because these coins exhibit a really pretty kind of blast white silvery color. Just like any other coin that has silver in it, like from Mercury dimes, Roosevelt dimes, up to quarters, half dollars, like fresh out of a roll type of quality. That's what you have here. Again, the coins are always very well struck. The cool thing about these coins is there's a myriad of different repunch mint marks that you could find for the state. This one right here is just a really nice graded specimen as a mid-state 67 plus. Does have full steps and it looks every bit that. Now you'll notice it says type 2 at the bottom of the grade, and what that is this is the date here that you have the type 1 nickel composition coins that have the mint mark on the reversed to the right of the building base. So they refer to that as the type 1, but when you get into the silver 1942s, again, they're sharing a common date with a transition here. That's where the Type 2 comes into play, in case you were wondering. So this one right here, again, really nice typeset coin. It's also Q8 certified, which is similar to CAC, but for more modern coins. This one sold for $1,811.25. And we do have a few buffaloes, because why not? A good herd of buffaloes are kind of hard to find, especially anything pre-1930. The first one we have here for you is the 29S. Just a really pleasing looking coin as a mid-state 66. It's also CAC or CAC green bean. It's one of the last of the true breed of what I call like the difficult, dates to find in mid-state condition. This one right here is just a good looking coin all around. And with that being said, this one sold for $1,306.12. Same hammer price as the 47S nickel that we saw previous. And a 23S, I mean, this is where it gets really, really scarce. This one right here has kind of a targeted bullseye, funky toning to it on both sides of the coin. Kind of like got that yellowish, goldish color on there. Looks a little bit dark, but for a 23S, this is kind of like the muted luster that you expect for this date. It wasn't very strong at all during the mid-20s, and, one can only hope to find a coin like this at all. This one is actually in a very neat PCGS Mid-State 64 Plus 35th anniversary label, so it kind of harkens back to the older style labels that PCGS used about 25 years ago. Or older than that, actually. 35, right? 35th anniversary, going all the way back to the Rattlers. So this one right here, great addition to the list at $1,575 and 0 cents. And probably the prettiest coin on the list. There are a number of coins that are pretty, but this is the one here, 1912D. Liberty V nickel, which is the first ever nickel to feature a mint mark, date-wise. You can see the mint mark on the reverse here under this left-hand dot. All right. There's also an S mint as well. That's quite a bit scarce. However, this one is scarce in mid-state grades. So when I heard a mid-state 66 or had seen a mid-state 66 by NGC pop up, I figure it was going to be a pretty good lottery coin. It's also got a green bean CAC sticker as well. Happy to say that this one hammered at $7,517.25. Just a really pretty high-end type piece. And then we do have a few dimes on the list. The only Roosevelt is going to be this Marquee Proof 1950 Rosie. Finding one deep cameo, which is kind of like that really frosty Devices look in conjunction or in tandem with very nice mirrored fields. Quite scarce during the 50s, which comprises probably less than 1% of the entire run. That's how tough they are. But if you're still able to find a really solid looking proof set from the early 50s, because they are going to be expensive. If you're looking to just buy a full set, they're many hundreds of dollars. But if you're able to identify one singular coin, it doesn't matter if it's the Lincoln cent, the nickel, the dime, quarter, or half dollar, find one at all with a really nice cameo contrast, and that is a home run right immediately. This one right here is a PCGS Proof 67 Deep Cameo. Looks every bit the part, and this one right here sold for $2,522.25. Other Mercury news coming in the way of a few of the World War II era dates. We have a 1942 here. This one here is a PCGS Mid-State 67 with full bands. Pretty looking coin, very nice. It's a 42, one of the more common dates. It's also CAC green beaned as well. This one ended up selling for $1,955.25. And this is one of those coins where the CAC sticker plays a huge role. If that wasn't on there, this coin would probably about be worth half the amount of money that it sold. So right around $1,000. So sometimes that CAC sticker really does a trick in enhancing the value of some of these more widely available coins. And at the same token, here's a 41S. A little bit tougher date to find full bands. I know that's kind of something in itself because, you know, any 1940s Mercury dime is quite nice, you know, save for the 45P, which is impossible to find with full bands. This one right here is a just really out of this world Mint State 68 full bands example. You got some of the just incredible strike that you would ever find on a coin, and being that it's a San Francisco minted piece means a whole lot. This one right here is sold for $4,399.88. Let's go get it. And then we're going to finish off the Mercury dimes here with a 1920S. Just a really nice earlier piece. One that probably looks like it fits better in a typeset because of its grade. It's a Mint State 64 full bands edition. This is kind of like that great compromise example where you're not spending tens of thousands of dollars, but at the same time you're not getting one that's circulated. So 63, 64 is generally kind of like the average target for some collectors. This one right here sold for $2,401.88. Man, what a really nice coin, and the market's really healthy on these earlier Mercuries. Okay, you might want to adjust the contrast on your monitor, or your phone, whichever you're using to watch the MMR. But yeah, how about 52D? This thing is like a 120 watt light bulb. It's that fresh out of a roll. Mint State 67. People can go all day long cherry picking one of these and being okay with finding one that's not particularly well toned or anything like that. Just one that is clean. The fields are clean. For the most part, it's free of some major distracting marks, so that's important as well. This one right here, 52D, not a rare coin to find in mid-state condition at all, but if you're a cherry picker and you love finding perfection, this is the one right here. This one sold for $1,096.88. Got a few more quarters to go, and I figure we'd save the best for last. 1945 Washington. Oh my God, the color on this thing is... what else can you say? It's ethereal. It's it's like unlike anything I have ever seen. But when you find something like this in an old collection, you really have something. All right, it's not so much about the coin as it is more of the artistic quality of the coloring that these coins oxidate over time. There's going to be a lot of people that at some point in the past that have dipped these, much to their own, chagrin. You're throwing away thousands of dollars when you do stuff like that. This one is an NGC Mint State 68. Why it's graded NGC, I don't know, but the coloration in this looks really good in that white holder that the NGC has. This one sold for $4,050, and that's all artistic money, guys. Let's be honest. And the final two coins are going to be some of the biggest standing Liberty quarters you will lay eyes on. There's no 1916 on the list, so let's just say some of the top SLQs that you will find. 27D, quite a tough date, especially in full head designation. This one is a PCGS Mint State 66 with the FH on there. CAC certified, just a really, really pretty coin. I bet this thing is ultra lustrous in hand. I just like full Mint State standing Liberty quarters in hand because they beam with all sorts of stuff, and with the amount of devices that these coins exhibit, when you have luster that flashes across just various areas of the coin, it's really nice. This one right here ended up hammering at a very kingly $12,380.62. But not to be outdone, we also have one of the more tougher keys of the Standing Liberty Quarter series, and that's the 1919P. This Philadelphia minted coin is all original with a slightly rotated reverse on there as well. A lot of the olive green kind of russet brown toning that you see on here is exactly what a purist wants. And, you know, with that being said, they're going to open up their wallets and their checkbooks and then write any amount of money they so desire. This will not be lost by anyone who really gives a care about the series because it's just a pretty original coin. Mid-State 67 full head is where this one ended up as, CAC stickered. And not the worst money in the world because I'm sure any dedicated Standing Liberty Quarter enthusiast or nut or whatever you want to call them have spent way much more money on these. This one sold for $14,061.38. Wow, what a good way to end off the Monday Market Report. For the week ending June 19th, 2022, we are halfway through the year. Can you guys believe that? I can't. Yeah, it's the summer has been hot so far. We're going to see if that trend continues over the next 60 days as we trudge on through. It was a pleasure having you guys on. Would love to hear your thoughts. Did you have a favorite on the Monday Market Report for this week? Thank you guys again for all of your views and support. Come check me out on the good old Tickety Talk. I am at BlueRidgeSilverhound on there, all one word. And that's going to go ahead and do it. If you guys are working tomorrow, all right, don't work so hard. Have a great week. And I will see you guys on the next coin video. So long, guy.